And g'day there. So today I've got a little computer in for repair for someone I built it for quite some time ago. Not even sure what it is. 10 years ago? It was a while ago. So apparently when this is powered up it just comes up with a Windows error and doesn't boot. So let's take a look and see what's going on. It's pretty straightforward, no graphics card, onboard VGA only. So it's a BEB, pretty basic board. Keyboard and mouse. Okay, so screen is on. Let's see what happens when we turn it on. No power, probably because that's off. I don't know. As usual, it's probably not plugged in. Nope, that's not plugged in. There we go. Hey. Right, so we've got display. There we go. Windows, it's fixed. It's working. Preparing automatic repair. Yeah, sorry about my voice is bad enough most of the time as it is, but I've got a cold at the moment, so my voice is like 10 times worse than normal, so apologies for that. Plus I'm having trouble concentrating, as you do when you get a head cold. Not start correctly. Alright, let's just start with trying the typical things. Reset. Startup repair. Oh, let's try that one. Let's see how this goes. Okay, so we've got startup repair. Could not repair your system. Press advance to try other options or shut down. Yeah, okay. Alright, I'm gonna try, before I go deep diving too much into hardware and stuff, there's a program on Macrium Reflect that apparently can fix startup issues, so I'm just going to try that just out of curiosity first. Alright, so I think I'm going to use the Macrium Reflect free edition, and I'm going to boot it off my handy USB drive that I've made. If you're interested in this and you haven't seen it before, maybe you're new to the channel, then you can go back to one of my previous videos and you see how you can make yourself one of these. I use it, well, I use my own version, but one that you can legally use is available to download. Here we go. Fix Windows boot problems. So I'm just curious to see if this will work. So let's go next. Sure, next. Reset, replace the master. This is a bit hardcore, but yeah, see what happens. Restart your PC? Yes. So it looks like that's more so if the bootloader's corrupted and other things. So I'm not sure if this is actually going to work. Your device needs to be repaired. A critical system device is missing or contains errors. Okay. Enter to try again. Yeah, try again. Try again. I think this thing's got something going on with it. Startup settings. Choose a number to choose from the below options. Enable safe mode. See if we can enable safe mode. I would like to have a look in the event viewer if I could. No, doesn't want to do that. Critical driver is missing. Contains errors. Okay. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do before we play around the software is always take an image of the software. Okay, so we're just starting the backup of the computer. So what I've traditionally done is if I get a computer that I'm repairing a software issue on, I will take an image of the drive first before I start playing around with it, because sometimes you can make things worse. And yeah, generally I don't, back when I used to work in computer shops, I generally didn't spend a lot of time. You could chase your tail for hours, even days, trying to get Windows to work sometimes. Sometimes out of curiosity, and if I was quieter, I used to kind of just have a bit of a tinker, see if we get it to work again. But generally what we do is just back up the data, reinstall Windows, copy all the data back across. If Windows, the options for Windows weren't available to do those things. And where I work now, when we do anything software related, we just re-image the system. We don't try and get it working anymore. So yeah, we're just going to let this back up and have a quick look at see if we can fix Windows. Okay, so we're going to choose the repair your computer option. I've never actually done Windows 10. I tend to not have had a lot of success with repairing Windows in the past, so I tend to just back software up and do a reload. Okay, so because we've got an image, we can have a bit of a play around, see if there's a restore point. Restart the computer, select restore. Okay, so we're going to start by running some repair scripts that I wrote some time ago. Let's go. Try and guess what drive the. Hang on, CD. There we go. So this is the USB drive with a Windows installation on it. We do SFC offline, and the drive letter of Windows installation, I believe, is E:. Alright, so if you run these utilities through Windows, you don't need to take extra steps. There's like a, what do you have to start? The trusted installer service. Or you can do it this way. So this script, all it's doing is running SFC with the offline mood. It just saves me having to type either stuff. I just type SFC offline, E:, and it does the rest. So see how this goes, and then we'll go to the next command. Oh, look at that. Could not perform. Oh man. Alright, what should we try? Okay, so I just started the trusted installer service. I just did it off camera for a bit because there's a couple of different ways to do it, and for some reason doing it a particular way on this using next start trusted installer works, whereas usually you type SC what is it? Yeah, SC start trusted installer, and that wouldn't work because some other errors, so that one worked, so let's try again. And it's done again. Windows resource protection cannot perform the requested operation. Alright, I'm going to go do some Googling and I'll be right back. Okay, so I've done some sniffing around, and the more I look around at people's usage of these repair commands, the more I realise that this may actually have something a little bit more wrong with it. Okay, what's going on? Okay, I'll try C:. Check discounts. 0? That's not normal. Why is that 0? I'll have to go check it again. Okay, so let's try check disk X. Oops. E:. Okay, so we'll see how this goes and then see if we can run system file checker after this. So see you in a minute. Okay, so check disk found some issues. So let's see if we can run DISM. DISM does not support servicing Windows PE with the online option. Okay. Okay, so I've just spent a bit of time making some tweaks to my command line utility. So we're just going to try DISM offline. I hate this keyboard. Okay, so I've just done this, so we go oh gosh, alright, up DISM offline, so Windows installation drive is E:, is it? D:, E:, yep, E:, no. Alright, try again. E:, and the USB drive, which is D:. Error. Of course there's an error. Unable to access the image. Well, that's definitely correct. So, unable to access the image. So you can see here the command. So watch, we go cd /cd x64. There it is. I don't know, this thing's giving me the shits. We can't use shutdown because there we go, shutdown. Yeah. Alright, so it's giving us an idea. We've got this file missing, so I'm just going to go copy this file off my Windows installation and copy it to that directory and see if that fixes it. Critical process died. Okay, so I've just done a heap of fixing off camera. Let's see if this QR code works. And it's just one error after the other. I kind of get past one error, replace a file, just comes up with the next error. So I think we're gonna have to bite the bullet and reinstall. See if we can do a reinstall over the top. So let's get started with that. Okay, so it's been, I've never actually tried it with Windows 10 to be honest. Doing the old install over the top. So let's see how we go. Okay, so we're in the BIOS. Let's boot off the USB. What's going on there? Okay, we'll go to the boot menu. I was just clicking on it and it's like making the mouse jiggle all over the place. I think this keyboard's a bit funky or something. It's pretty old. 64-bit. So yeah, we'll just do an install over the top. See if that still works. I remember back in the Windows 98 days, you used to just do an install over the top and it would fix Windows and you'd keep all your data and even half your programs would work. Gotta miss those days. The Windows 3.1 days were even easier, where you just literally copy, apart from the ini files, just copy everything over, and that's pretty much how you reinstall Windows if anything went corrupt. Pretty funny. As Windows gets more complex, it becomes harder to repair. So anyway, I'm not going to bore you with chit chat, so I'm just going to speed through this and we'll see how we go. Yeah, so as I feared, we can't really do an install over the top anymore. So I'm just reminded why the way I usually deal with this is back the data up onto a separate drive, so pull the hard drive out, reinstall Windows, then copy everything back over. So unfortunately it is what it is, but let's go about it that way then. Alright, let's have a quick tour of this hardware. So I'm pretty sure, yeah, this was a 3rd gen, the i5 3570. This is like the most basic of basic boards. And I noticed before when I was doing USB things, there's not even any USB 3, which was well and truly out around this time. So it took forever to back up. It only has VGA, which is not an issue, but at least it supports an external card on the what do you call it, PCI Express, yada yada. Also got Corsair 350 power supply, and I remember I had a heap of IDE drives, so I used to use these converters, and they're not ideal, but they work fine. So I had a heap of cheap drives that I sold to people in builds with an IDE. Put the adapter on there, and Bob's your uncle. And SSD. Pretty early SSD. It's like 10 plus years ago. It's pretty old now. So anyway, 240 gig SSD. So we're going to pull that out and plug it into a cradle and copy all the data off of it. Just like that. That's how you remove an SSD. It just slides out. I haven't screwed it, obviously. How old is this thing? Can we have a look? Yeah, I can't read those date codes. Say 11 years old, we'll call it. Oh no, if this is 3rd gen, what's that, 2013? Yeah, about 10 years old. 10, maybe 11 years old. So let's go plug this in and copy this data off. We're just going to quickly check this SSD for errors before we decide whether we're going to replace it or not. So let's fire up Seatools. Alright, so like I said, we're just going to check this drive because when I was copying the data off of it, it was giving quite a few errors, but it's saying like 96% lifetime remaining. But that doesn't make sense because that's not right, the drive usage. Details, so just going to see if we can run some kind of diagnostics on it. I hate that. It doesn't even tell you what it is. Like, oh yeah, oh, I don't know what that is. So you need to tell me what it is. Maybe I'll use the other. Oh, we got power on hour. So that's not very power on hours. Security, operations. Oh, cool. What's this? It's the first time I've actually used the Seagate Seatools for SSD. Yeah, clone software. Run self-test arrays, tunable capacity. Okay, well let's do run self-tests. We'll go short. Alright, I'll let these run and we'll be right back after we see how they went. Okay, well that's interesting. We've got operation failed. And it doesn't say why. Okay. I wonder, yeah, I actually think this drive may have a problem, even though it doesn't have many hours on it. Well, according to Seatools. The fact that there was a lot of unreadable files. I mean, we ran check disk, so that would have fixed any file system errors. So I then plugged this drive into my desktop and transferred the data over, and it's failing the self-test. So maybe we'll try the long test, extended test, and see how that goes. Alright, we'll be right back. And there we go, we've got operation failed again, and it won't even tell us why. Export log. Yeah, let's do that. Directory path. I don't know. What a pain in the butt. Here we go. So let's save it as, I don't know, log. Oh, 36G. LOG. Choose. Cancel. Type of logs to export. All logs. Browse. Yep, that'll do. Choose. Next. Submit. Finish. Alright, so we can go take a look at the logs, but right now we're going to replace the drive, I think, and see what other... Anyway, we're just going to call the owner of the computer and just see what he wants to do.
3 days later.
Okay, so I've pretty much given up trying to fix Windows 10. All the tricks and tips that I could think of and ones I could Google just wouldn't work. So I spoke to the guy who owns the computer and he said, oh, that's fine, just as long as he can get his data off, he's not too phased. And we're just going to put a new SSD in it, and we're also going to upgrade the memory from 4 to 8 gig and install Windows 10, and also see if we can upgrade it to Windows 11. So yeah, that's what the owner of the computer wanted, so let's get to it. That's right. Alrighty, so Windows 10 is on. We're just going to connect to Ethernet, and the Windows 10 logo, sorry, not logo, sticker is there, so we're just going to activate Windows. Obviously I'm not going to show you that code. Bright key, sorry. And yeah, then we're going to install the drivers, which I already downloaded, and then see if we can't get Windows 11 to work. Okay, so we've activated Windows, that's all successful. So now we're just going to install the drivers. Okay, it's not completely dry. I've definitely seen worse, but it's a little bit gooey. By gooey, I mean like slightly wet, but anyway, let's clean it off and repaste it. Okay, so we've re-greased the fan. Let's see if it made any difference. Always forget the switch. Alright, so I've got an idle temperature now of 28 degrees. Although it's debatable because it's cooled down and stuff, so it's probably more accurate to test this after it's done a little bit of work. But still, it's 6 degrees lower than before at idle. So anyway, I don't want to muck around with this forever, so we are going to install Windows 11. So let's get out of here. See if we can get Windows 11 installed. Alright, so Windows 11 upgrade is finished, and this is what I was afraid of. It's forcing you to add a Microsoft account, which is a pain in the butt. It wasn't meant to do this, and I've installed it fresh off this USB drive before, so I think what's happened is because I had it connected to the internet, it's gone and like updated to the latest Windows 11 image or software, and it's gone to install that instead of the one on the USB drive that shouldn't have this sign-in option. So I'm going to do a little experiment. I'm just going to quickly reload Windows 10 and then upgrade to Windows 11 without connecting to the internet and see if comes up with the same Microsoft account sign-in, which it shouldn't, but hopefully if you don't connect it to the net, it won't do that. So I won't bore you with another half an hour of going through it. So I'll just do it really fast and we'll be right back. Okay, so we've now completed a very fast reload of Windows 10 and Windows 11, and check this out. Second time around, without connecting to the internet, it worked. It didn't ask for a Microsoft account, so we have Windows 11 without, yeah, that's pretty cool. So, yeah, so if you make the Windows 11 bootable USB drive with Rufus, and you then do an upgrade, and just make sure you disconnect from the internet before you start the upgrade, then you can upgrade 10 to 11 without it forcing you to log into your Microsoft account. So there you go. Alright, so now we're pretty much just gonna copy all the data back across to the drive. This is a bit of a worry, like it regularly sits here, every so often it sits here for a minute. We'll have to investigate that a little bit. We'll worry about that after. So yeah, we got to copy the data over, checked it for viruses, and yeah, we're almost done. There you go, Doug. Free Windows 11 upgrade. So yeah, there you have it. It was pretty, so I've not actually properly sat down and had a good look at Windows 11 yet, I'll be honest. Even though I work in IT, the IT I work in is always like 10 years behind. So we don't really, I mean, like we're only at work, we're only upgrading our machines, I'll call them, to Windows 10, which is pretty funny. And it's like just going end of life. But they're not on the internet, so you know people go ATMs and self-serve checkouts, which okay, I admit that's what I repair. They've got a certain version of Windows, like some people go, oh, it's got Windows XP, but it doesn't matter because they're not on the internet. They're on internal networks, and they have software that I'm not going to talk about that locks them down. So even if you do get into the desktop, even as administrator, you can open some stuff, but you can't modify anything. So, you know, you see those internet debates going on about, oh yeah, I saw an ATM was still running Windows XP, it's so insecure. Like, well, it's actually not, but the downside that it is, we're not really meant to talk about it too much. So, yeah. Where's, yeah, like I said, I really need to sit down and have a proper look at where everything is. Everything's just like shuffled around in Windows 11. So anyway, we're just going to copy the data back over, and we're pretty much done. Well, one thing I do want to do, which I haven't done yet, is run MEMTEST, because I've removed the existing memory and put 2 new sticks in. Yeah, we'll just do that. Actually, we'll do it now, and then we'll copy the data over. Okay, coming back a little while later, we have got the dreaded memory errors. Dun dun. So what are we going to do? We're going to just make sure that the memory configuration is okay in the BIOS, and clean the contacts in the RAM. Thing is, this memory that I have in my memory tub is all tested, so very unlikely it's a memory. It's either poor connection or something's up with the config. So let's check the BIOS out and have a look. DRAM timing. Yeah, they're all set to auto. Alright, so we're going to pull the memory out and clean the contacts just to make sure that's not causing any problems. Alright, so we've cleaned the memory contacts, cleaned the slots in the motherboard, checked the memory timings in the BIOS, so we're just going to go back and run MEMTEST once more and see how that goes. We've still got errors, so we're going to chuck a different stick of memory in there. And yeah, test this stuff later. You know, it's funny, all the secondhand memory that I hold on to, I always test it for like 48 hours before I store it away. But occasionally you come across this, you know, something you test it and you store it for a couple of years, then it fails. Like I've had hard drives do that too. Literally just sitting there doing nothing after being tested. They yeah, just fail from sitting there doing nothing. Anyway, let's chuck some more memory in. Okay, old memory out, new memory in. So we're putting 8 gig in this, but the only problem is I only have a single 8 gig stick because this has only got the 2 memory slots. So single channel is not ideal, but again, like I said earlier, they're not doing anything fancy with this. It's literally just for internet and emails. They don't even watch movies on it, they don't game, no video editing, no nothing else. So basic computer, single channel's fine. Okay, we've had to speed things up a little because the person who owns the computer needs it back ASAP. So I didn't bother getting footage of MEMTEST finishing. Worked fine with the single stick in there, so we just got to copy the data back over, and I think it was set up a email program for them. Probably I guess it was Mozilla Firefox. I don't know. I can't remember the one that I used. Anyhow, going to do that, and yeah, it should be done. So we're pretty much finishing up now. Just giving a couple of thoughts on Windows 11 and Intel 3rd gen hardware. So this was got i5 3470 from memory. Yeah, it's pretty much. I mean, I've been having a quick play around with Windows 11. It's quite snappy. I can't fault it really. Nothing's crashed yet. Apart from, yeah, hardware-wise, there's lack of USB 3, which really sucks for copying data over. But I was thinking the Intel 3rd gen this is probably the most universal computer generation you can use, because 3rd gen was the last generation that was officially supported by Windows XP. So you can run anything on a 3rd gen from Windows XP right up to Windows 11. I mean, okay, Windows 11 unofficially, but with the Rufus software install, it installs and bypasses all the hardware checks, and it runs fine. And yeah, I mean, there's obviously reasons why Microsoft have done it. I hope it's not just to force people to buy new hardware, because that really ticks me off. You know, something's only obsolete when it no longer serves a purpose, and especially Microsoft and all them touting saving the environment, you'd think they'd be a little bit more anti-e-waste. But anyway, I don't have strong opinions about Microsoft. But anyway, we're not going to go into that. We're just going to leave it at that. So once this data finishes copying across, we're going to get this back to its owner, and hopefully it lasts for a couple more years. Alright, so I'm going to finish up here. I'm going to get moving. So yeah, hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you later. Ugh. So check this out. AI has been around since 2013. The AI tweaker uses the power of the video card to tweak your system.